Hi, everyone. I'm Denise O'Malley, the founder of You Define Wellness, and welcome to another session within the Defining Wellness Confab. One of the reasons why we put this together, and you can call it a summit or a forum, we like Confab because it's an informal, private conversation between us and you. And one of the reasons why we put it together, our theme is becoming the director of your own healthcare. And what we know is when you are stepping away from traditional medical insurance, easy for me to say, and trying to find the people who can help you, you may not know where to start. And so everybody goes to the Google machine and types in some keywords and up comes some lists, but you don't really know anything about that person. So I wanted to introduce you to dozens of the health and wellness professionals that I know so that you can get familiar with who they are and see if this is someone you want to work with. And in this session, we're going to be talking about falling forward and turning your pain into purpose. And this is brought to you by Linda Carney with Your Path Forward. And Linda, thank you very much for doing this presentation today.
You're very welcome, and thank you for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
Me too.
Yeah.
So it is yours. I'm turning it over to you now, and so you can upload your PowerPoint.
Okay, great. I will do that. I just want to thank you all for joining me today. Hope you're having a good Saturday with lots of fun things planned. But for right now, I'm going to start my PowerPoint, and we are going to talk about your life story, my life story. Let me get going here. I'll be with you in a second. Here we go. Can you see me?
We can. You want to hit play from beginning just at the top left side there. There you go.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you, Denise. Today I want to share with you some things, and I want to talk to you about your life story, your wellness journey. Your life story and your wellness journey are unique to you. There's no one else on this planet whose story is the same as yours or mine. There have been ups and downs. There have been twists and turns, mountaintop experiences, and I would venture to guess some experiences in the wilderness. Am I right? It's true for me anyway. Your life journey has included some stories of joy and adventure, no doubt, and some stories of pain. And today I want to share with you a little bit about my personal story of pain. And while I do so, I don't want you to so much focus on my story of pain, but I want you to think about your story as well. And I would guess that you already have one in mind. I'm going to share with you today how I used my pain story to find a new purpose in life and a new passion and a new reason for living. And I want to share some tips and some simple steps that I took to transform my pain story into a new purpose so that you can do the same. So let's get started. Everyone has their own unique path to wellness. Your wellness journey is not the same as mine or anyone else's. It's not a one-size-fits-all. And the answer and the key to your wellness and the resolution to your pain story, whether it be physical or spiritual or emotional, it's not always written in a physician's desk reference or anybody's textbook. So what happens when your path to wellness is not clearly defined? What happens when your team of providers or your family or your friends, their suggestions, what if they don't seem to fit you? That was my story. In 1999, a long time ago, I came down with what felt like a run-of-the-mill virus. It felt like just a cold, but that virus turned into a 12-year journey into chronic illness. Chronic fatigue syndrome is what they eventually diagnosed me with, but that didn't come easily. I underwent test after test, all normal results, CT scan, MRIs, lumbar punctures. I was sent to every specialist you could imagine, and ultimately, because everything came back normal, they couldn't find any physical answers. I was funneled into the psychiatric department and diagnosed with depression as well. And I actually had several practitioners tell me, Mrs. Carney, we don't even want to see you in our office anymore until your depression is under control. So I was handed prescription after prescription to relieve my digestive issues, my dizziness, my weakness, my nausea, my insomnia, my crushing fatigue. And I eventually became housebound and sometimes bedridden. I was unable to function any longer as a mom or a wife. Um, I had a 15-year-old daughter at the time, so I couldn't get up and drive her to school. I couldn't take her shopping for her prom dress and everything that went with that. Anyway, my life was kind of put on hold, and my world, my family's world, changed entirely. Their lives were affected as well as mine in pretty much every way. But the thing I want to focus on here is that the doctors and the medical community that I had put my trust in seemed to have no answers for me, aside from the about 10 prescriptions that they eventually put me on. But those medicines, they did nothing to get to the root cause of my illness. So I found myself depressed, discouraged, misunderstood, sick, dismissed by my medical community. My body was sick, not my mind. I was depressed, yes, because I was sick, but not vice versa. But anyway, the following 12 years became a grueling journey to define my own wellness because nobody else could find the path for me. So I eventually did find a doctor who believed that my body was not functioning correctly. She didn't have my answers either, but she was willing to help me find my path, my answers. She began to encourage me to find my path by giving my body the things that we all knew that it needed, such as fresh air, rest, hydration, good nutrition, natural sunlight, and intentional movement, which is otherwise known as exercise. Um, anyway, this doctor, I call her my angel doctor now, she also encouraged me to believe in myself, to care for myself, to learn to like myself and love myself. She also encouraged me to remember my hopes and my dreams in life that were there before I got sick. And she encouraged me to set some goals to achieve those dreams. She planted in me what I now call a seed of hope. She planted it, but I had to water it, I had to feed it, I had to make it grow. So watering that seed, what does that look like? I had to be clear about what I was hoping for. What did that seed of hope consist of? What did it look like? I had to bring clarity to it. I had to define it. So how do you define your seed of hope? How do you define your seed of hope? First of all, I would say try not to let your pain story define you. And what I mean by that is to step outside of your current situation, whatever your pain story is, try to step outside of that and ask yourself some questions. If you could write a storybook ending to your pain story, well, what might it look like? And keep in mind that it doesn't matter if you think it's realistic or not, whether you think it could really happen or how could it happen. You don't have to know that according to your present circumstances. So what would your dream life look like? Close your eyes and get that picture in your mind. Put a picture in your mind, then define it. Describe it. Give it some clarity. What does it look like? Where are you when this is happening? What is your why? Why is this your hope? Why is that your seed of hope? When might it happen? So step outside of your current pain story and look inside. And if your pain story didn't define you, what would? I want to share just a pivotal moment with you that was kind of in the midst or in the height of my pain story. My daughter at the time had begun to take better care of herself, probably because she saw what was happening to me. And she gotten interested in running and fitness and general wellness and good health. And she began running as a hobby. And I personally hadn't run I don't think on purpose since Phi Ed class in high school. But she inspired me. I saw her getting herself healthy. She inspired me. And I wanted to make her proud. I kind of wanted to be like her. So I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, Self, someday I'm going to run with my daughter. And I had no idea how that was going to happen. Didn't think it could realistically be possible, because at that time I couldn't even walk around the block, and some days I couldn't even get out of bed. But nevertheless, I said, someday I'm going to do this. So then at that point, I had to give my seed of hope some substance and dimension. For me, that meant I had to get a little bit more specific. And so I told myself, someday I'm going to run a 5K with my daughter. So I closed my eyes. I would visualize myself holding her hand, running across the finish line. And I asked myself the question, why? Why do I want to do this? What is my why? And I told myself, well, because it would be a beautiful memory for both of us. I wanted her to be proud of me. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it. So be specific in your goal, in your hope, your seed of hope. Be specific. And then make it your intention. Start your day, get up in the morning, look in your mirror and say today, I can fill in the blank. I will fill in the blank. I am fill in the blank. For me, it was, I can someday run a 5K. I will someday run a 5K. Today, I am going to get out of bed. So it's basically just setting some statements of intention every day. So think about that. What are your I cans? What are your I wills? What are your I ams? This exercise, doing this every day, helps you to see your hopes and dreams as more than just hopes and dreams. Doing this will help you see them as possibilities, because they are possibilities. So next, what you want to do is start making a plan. And my suggestion, what I did was start with baby steps. What baby step, what tiny little thing can you do today that will take you just a bit closer to that goal, to your dream, to your hope? You want to set your bar low because you want to set yourself up for success. You want to make sure it's achievable. You want to make sure it's sustainable, something you can do every day. And what did that look like for me? So my initial baby step was not so much about the goal, but it was about the feeling of accomplishment when it was achieved. So I set my bar low, and my first step was to just get some natural sunlight, some natural daylight every day, 10 minutes if I could. For me, that meant putting a lawn chair out in my driveway and sitting in the sun for 10 minutes. Or on a rainy day, sitting by a window for 10 minutes just to get some daylight. I knew my body needed that. And I did that for about a week or so. I achieved that. So I added another baby step. Next, I decided I was going to get 5 minutes a day of intentional movement, otherwise known as exercise. I set out to walk down my street for 5 minutes, just past my next door neighbor's house, turned around, come back, come in the house, collapse because I was exhausted. But I did it. And I considered that my workout for the day. And I hadn't done that in years. So I was proud. I had achieved it. I was proud because I was moving forward. So I continued to build baby step upon baby step. And I began to tweak my nutrition little by little. And over the course of time, I did feel like I was starting to take my life back again. And that feeling was monumental. So with the baby steps just continued. I just kept going, keeping that goal in mind. And the next thing that I needed to do was to align myself with other people who were like-minded with me. So I'll read this slide. It says, walk with the dreamers, the believers, the courageous, the cheerful, the planners, the doers, the successful people with their heart in the clouds, their head in the clouds and their feet on the ground. Let their spirit light a fire within you to leave this world better than when you found it. So I would say find the people who agree with you that you are, that you can, that you will. If your people don't stand up and clap for you when you share your goals and your dreams with them, they're not your people. Shake them off, shake off the negativity that they may bring, because negativity may come, and move on. If a doctor suggests something that you don't feel comfortable with, he or she is not your doctor. Make sure your people align with you and your own internal compass rather than vice versa. Don't let them discourage you if you don't align with their internal compass. For me, it meant at the time I was part of a couple of Yahoo groups or Facebook groups who were basically support groups for chronically ill women. And eventually, they were great in the beginning, but eventually I felt like that wasn't taking me to my goal, because misery loves company, and I felt that my goal was to get well, and I didn't want to spend my time with other people who were satisfied to be sick. And that's okay for them if that's where they were, but my goal was to get well. And then another thought that I kept in mind during this whole process was, where did the seed of hope come from? Where did these dreams come from? Where did your dream come from? Were you born with it? I believe that something or someone has planted that seed of hope, that dream in your soul. It came from somewhere. You may choose to believe that it's a higher power or the universe or God, whatever works for you, that works for you. But I choose to believe that you wouldn't have that dream in your soul if there wasn't a plan out there somewhere to deliver it. You were born with that dream in your soul, and no one on the planet can fulfill it the way you can, because it's your dream. You need to fulfill it, believe it, trust it. It's your destiny. So now I just want to share a little bit about the rest of my story and how I turned my pain into purpose. I did begin to take control back of my life. And that 5K, that goal of the 5K with my daughter, that's the day it happened. That was a very proud day for my daughter and myself, a very happy day that was a wonderful memory. But my new purpose began to evolve. And I knew there were so many people out there that also had struggles that they couldn't see their way through, and needed to define their wellness. I eventually got well, and I could have left it at that point. I could have gone on to enjoy the rest of my life and closed the book. But if I had done that, what purpose would those years have served? Would they have been in vain? I didn't want them to be in vain. I decided that I wanted my story of pain into purpose to be used to inspire and encourage you and other people. I determined in my heart that I'd spend the rest of my life telling that story and encouraging others that no matter what their pain story is, no matter what your pain story is, you can rewrite it. You can rewrite a happy ending for yourself. You don't have to live in hopelessness or discouragement. So I planted a new seed of hope and set new intentions. I am an encourager. I can inspire others. I will make this my new life purpose. And when I began setting those intentions, opportunities began to come along. I would run into others who were chronically ill, and I was able to share my story with them. Eventually, I was presented an opportunity to retire from my food service career, further my education, and turn that opportunity into a profession. I learned how to encourage others in a professional sense. So the whole thing has come full circle for me. I found my path to wellness. I defined my own wellness. Took control of my journey, and along the way, I found a new purpose and much more. I found self-confidence, strength that I didn't know I had. I found my truth, and I learned how to live it authentically, and my life transformed. I found a new lens from which I view all of life now. So I believe you can find your path too. Start with your pain story. What is it? What is your pain story? Where do you feel stuck? If you could rewrite yourself a perfect ending, what would it be? Close your eyes, envision it, write it down. Be specific. What does it look like? When might it happen? 1 year? 5 years? What is your why? And then imagine that you've achieved it. close your eyes and see yourself like I did, crossing that finish line. What does it feel like? Let yourself feel the feeling of what it feels like. And then make it your intention. Every morning, look in the mirror. I can fill in the blank. I will fill in the blank. I am fill in the blank. And then make a plan. Set your goal, set your baby steps, and remember to set your bar low so that you can achieve it and sustain it. I want you to think right now, like, what one thing, what tiny thing can you take? What baby step can you take today, and every day moving forward to get you one step closer to that goal? And then align yourself with those that inspire you and encourage you. Find them. They're out there. And make that your intention too, because when you do that, I promise you, they'll find you. Trust me, they'll find you. So water your seed of hope. Let it grow. Watch it grow. So your pain story, it might feel right now like you're falling. I felt like I was falling into a deep, dark hole. But as I look back on those years, that journey, every step of the way, I was falling forward. I was moving forward. I turned my pain into purpose. And you can too. I believe you can. If I could find my path, if I could define my own wellness, you can too. I believe in you. I don't want you to hear my story and say, my own suffering is not that significant. I want you to hear my story and say, if she can do it, then so can I. If I could find my path, if I could define my own wellness, you can. So start today. Start right now. I want you to start right now. The world is waiting for you. Your possibilities are endless. You have a destiny, and you will fulfill it. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great Saturday.
Oh my goodness, Linda, that was fantastic. Thank you for
You're
that. It was
welcome.
so inspiring. And I've met hundreds of health and wellness professionals since I launched You Define Wellness 3.5 years ago. And the underlying theme with everyone is that they are able to share their gifts. And again, these are, for those watching, these are not gifts that are typically on a medical insurance plan, but they're able to share their gifts of healing and hope and um, happy, healthy, and thriving lives because they've walked the path, or they've walked it because of a loved one. And you're a perfect example of that. So I appreciate you very much for doing that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
So this is where I get to talk with everyone about the You Define Wellness Network, of which Linda is part of. There we go. And what it means. So You Define Wellness is a company that I formed 3.5 years ago, and we have hundreds of health and wellness professionals across the country. And these health and wellness professionals work in, there's more than 130 different modalities that they have out there. And as I said at the very beginning of this, you can go to a search engine and type in keywords that you're looking for, but you're going to get a list of professionals. There are tons of online provider directories out there. There's Yelp, which could be used as one. And you can use ours, and anybody can access it, whether they're a client of ours or not. So I encourage you to go there. And the reason why you would want to go there is because our directory is different. We vet our providers. We don't accept just anyone to it. Our providers have gone through a criminal background investigation. We have looked at any licenses they may hold that are regulated by their state and made sure there weren't any disciplinary actions or stipulations on them. We are looking to make sure they are a legal business. And I think this is most important, that what their reputation is. So while you should also do your own due diligence, when you find a health and wellness professional on our list, you know that they've gone through that screening process. And it should factor into your decision-making process when you are looking as to who you want to work with. But with a network of health and wellness professionals, we can actually do something different, like create an employee benefit program so that you can access people like Linda that is on an employer subsidized plan. And we'd love to introduce you to this employee benefit program. We also have a catalog of health and wellness education topics. These are programs created by and conducted by our providers. And so if you're looking for a speaker on health and wellness, particularly if you're in the arena of corporate wellness and you just don't know who to get next, man, we've got an entire directory of them. And some of the programs are available worldwide by using platforms like Zoom. And you can go to our website and download a copy for free. We also have an individual plan now. It's a discount card. And this is because individuals came to us and said, I want to play. I want to have discounts on health and wellness services and products. So we created a discount card for you. So if you present this card to any of the providers in our network who accepts it, and that list is growing by leaps and bounds, we're just launching this now, they have stated what their benefits will be that you will receive. So this card does have a price on it. It's $99. It is a one-time fee. It never expires. And it can be used as many times as you want in a month. And you can share it with your friends, your family, your next door neighbors, your coworkers. Whoever holds that card and presents it to one of our providers who accepts it will receive the discount. And so that one-time fee of $99 it's half price through the end of this month. It's only $49.50. And you can learn more at our website at youdefinewellness.com. And the last thing I want to share with you today is Linda's contact information. So if what she has said has resonated with you and you want to see if you can work together, pick up the phone, give her a call, jump over to her website, learn more about it. And if you didn't catch that fast enough, you know what? There's this wonderful little rewind button. You can go back and pause it and write it down. But there's one last question I have for you, Linda, that I failed to ask, and that is, where do you work with your clients?
I work remotely, or I can work over the phone. If you're local, I'm in the Wisconsin area, South Central Wisconsin. I can work wherever you would like to meet, but I'm not limited. I'm glad to work remotely from wherever you are.
So the beautiful thing is you can work with anyone, anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That is becoming my favorite saying
Yes.
over the Defining Wellness Confab.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Well, with that being said, Linda, thank you very much for this presentation. There's only one last session in the Defining Wellness Confab, and that's me bringing it all together. So you were a breath of fresh air for me, for a great way to end the presentations from our health and wellness professionals.
Oh, thank you for saying that. It was my pleasure, really.
And for those watching this on a recording, no matter where you found the recording, you can find all of them at youtube.com. Just put You Define Wellness in the search engine. You will find our channel. I recommend you follow us so that you can be notified when we have more videos that have been uploaded. There are over 100 videos in there right now so that you can get to know some of the health and wellness professionals that I know before you actually make that call to work with them. So with that being said, thank you again, all of you, for watching, and for you, Linda, being a part of it today. And we hope to see you on another recording.